This is a Dark Angels Dreadnought. Or is it an Alpha Legion Hellbrute? I'm obsessed with miniatures, so I just had to see it in person. But Mark, aka Xerxes, the guy who painted it, lives in Germany. So I made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Xerxes, I challenge you to battle! My World Eaters versus your Alpha Legion. Just move!
So how did Xerxes respond to my offer?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to infiltrate the MiniWarGaming bunker.
MiniWarGamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com. I'll showcase 8 of my favorites from his collection and use each as an example to illustrate why he's the most deadly opponent I've ever faced. It's important we fully understand the mind we're dealing with here, because I've got questions. Like, why does he see the entire world through an Alpha Legion lens?
It's like Alpha Legion.
What made him convert these Space Marines and apply his Omegon's Wrath effect to them? And why was he so generous to me?
I want to gift it to you. A little Omegon for Alpha Legion. Yes.
Sponsored by Wayland Games, but more on that later. To understand Xerxes, we first need to know what faction resonates most with him. We're talking about the sneakiest, shadiest, most mind-melting legion in the entire Warhammer 40k universe, the Alpha Legion. And if you think you understand them, you don't. And that's exactly how they like it. So here's the deal. The Alpha Legion is the 20th and final legion of the original Space Marines. Their Primarch? Alfarius. Or maybe it's Omegon. Or maybe they're the same person. Or not. With the Alpha Legion, everything is a lie. And the truth.
It's chaos! It's order!
It's both. And that's what makes them so awesome. The Alpha Legion plays the long game. They infiltrate, manipulate, and deceive. They'll convince your commander to turn traitor, make your best troops attack each other, and by the time you realize what's going on, you've already lost. And here's the kicker. Sometimes they fight for the Imperium by pretending to fight against it. Or maybe the other way around. You get the idea. That's the Alpha Legion. Let's dive into 8 of my favorite paint jobs by Xerxes. But remember, I'm only showcasing these to illustrate how he plans to take over MiniWarGaming, and I'll start it off with the first mini he's ever applied the Omegon's Wrath effect to. So what inspired him to do this effect on the mini in the first place? As a teenager, young Xerxes played Warhammer Fantasy with his friends. Then along came Dark Vengeance, the Warhammer 40k 2-player starter set, which included both Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines in the same box. Oh, he loved the look and feel of both so much, he wanted to combine them somehow. But a friend from his gaming group said he couldn't, and that's when Xerxes encountered his first, guy. The actually guy? You know, the tongue-in-cheek stereotype of a player who obsessively corrects others, often mid-sentence, with technical rule clarifications or lore corrections, usually prefaced by a smug or awkward, actually. The same guy that in the middle of a game of Warhammer 40k, when someone says something casual like, my Space Marine charges your orcs, and the actually player jumps in with, actually, according to page 273, they can't because they advanced last turn and don't have the assault keyword. The same guy that said this to Xerxes.
Actually, you can't infiltrate the Dark Angels because they have the inner circle and they would recognize.
Oh, heaven help anyone who says Xerxes can't do something.
And I said like, well, challenge accepted.
What you're seeing here is the result of the challenge to not do it.
You're making this up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. For the sake of infiltrating the Dark Angels, I made this bit up.
This man lives and breathes Alpha Legion. He's obsessed with converting his miniatures to make them look like Alpha Legion. He's coined it the Omegon's Wrath effect. But what's Omegon's Wrath? At its core, it tends to give Alpha Legion even more depth of story. And Xerxes created his own fan lore, explaining this with Space Marines using a cloaking device that not only changes their appearance, but their physical shape as well. An ancient technology that was built from an STC plan acquired by Alfarius from a Blackstone fortress, which is a fancy way of saying some old dusty blueprints were taken from an old space station to make some new technology. Which works by copying the biometric and physical appearance of a being and transferring it to the wearer of the device, reshaping flesh and metal, kind of like the T-1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And now that we know what Omegon's Wrath is,
I love how these are like your first ones you've painted, and they're like really well painted.
Oh, thank you.
But don't be fooled. The only reason why Omegon's Wrath exists is because Xerxes didn't want to be told what to do. Next up, we have this converted Lord of Skulls painted with an Omegon's Wrath effect on the shoulder pad. How did this come to be? Well, first you need to know that Xerxes is very generous. First thing he did when he walked into my studio was give me this beautifully painted figurine.
You're back. What? I want to gift it to you.
Wow. Wow. Dude, like you spent your time on this. Like,
Yeah, this is sculpted. I used heads and cut them in half like I always do. And the lightning effect is actually sculpted with green stuff.
that's
sculpted
that
by
dragon.
myself.
You sculpted that
Yeah.
that serpent?
Yeah, I did. I could do better.
Damn.
What?
And so of course it would make sense that he would want to do something else for me, right? Well, in the mind of Xerxes, that meant asking me if I had a Lord of Skulls still in the box so he could kitbash it with a Gears of War action figure. I didn't have an extra Lord of Skulls lying around, so I did the next best thing.
You need this.
I do. Oh.
Yeah, I grabbed a completed one off my hobby shelf and proceeded to tear off the torso so he could use it in his conversion project. Over the next couple of days, he'd glue the bits together and add the Omegon's Wrath effect. But the best part about all this? There were leftover bits we could make something else out of. So we proceeded to search the bunker for a suitable top for the tracks, and lo and behold, did we not find a Ravaged Star, veil-touched Apocalypse prototype fresh from the factory for review, which I immediately decided would serve much better as the top upper portion of our new creation.
The apocalypse has been repurposed.
After some finesse, Xerxes glued it together, and now we have two pieces, which started from a simple question. Dave, do you have a Lord of Skulls? I mean, I was having so much fun, I almost forgot that a mastermind was pulling the strings. He got me to destroy my own Lord of Skulls and convinced me it was my idea. How did he do that? Dare I say it's because he's so generous? Yes, Dave, I will give you this so you can do my bidding. Speaking of getting two models out of one conversion, that brings us to his Centurion Despoilers, a cross between a Space Marine Centurion and a Chaos Space Marine Obliterator. These hulking mounts of firepower visually strike the eye as well as leave a lasting impression. Why was Xerxes so excited to bring these? Obviously, it was to show his dominance.
So, I get these guys here because I want to make my first kill killing a Defi. Definitely.
Wow. Behind enemy lines, huh?
Like true Alpha Legion is.
Here's for 1, 5 up. So 1 goes through, so this is 2d6 plus 8. Oh my goodness, so 18 versus rear armor 10. Okay, and you add 2 to the result, so you roll 1 die, and you're looking for a 5 or higher to make him explode. And he explodes! You just exploded, Daffy!
I told you so.
Hydra Dominatus, please.
Let's take a breather and talk about today's sponsor, Wayland Games, which Xerxes also infiltrated. How, you might ask? So Wayland carries Ravaged Star, and you'd think I'd be able to mind my own business and peacefully promote these beautifully chaotic minis, but no. Xerxes has got to go paint up a bunch, but he can't fool me. I see that Alpha Legion color scheme on his veil-touched abomination. He just can't help himself. And yes, I admit I really like the paint jobs, especially on this Amari pacifier. The colors are vibrant. But he did say something which I believe he was genuine about. He said he loves the Amari, especially this dwarf with a minigun. I mean, his love for them is clearly reflected in the paint job. All the plastic crack you see in this video is available at Wayland Games, who've now upgraded to a larger facility where they operate even more efficiently to get us all the games, goodies, and tools faster than before. Try infiltrating that, Xerxes. Soaring back to the matter at hand, let's take a look at this son of Sanguinius, Xerxes painted with the Omegon's Wrath effect. With subtlety and finesse. You might be thinking, this is a sweet paint job. But let's not forget who painted it. Xerxes knows I'm a Blood Angels player, and they're near and dear to my heart, so of course he knew showing me this elegant mini in his collection would create a visual bias in my mind and make me want to share it. It's one thing to depict a Dark Angel turning into an Alpha Legion. It's another to show a Blood Angel turning into an Alpha Legion, or a Blood Raven turning into an Alpha Legion. The visual contrast is undeniably striking. Making this Astartes turn into a possessed Chaos Space Marine is mint. And for those of us who have played Dawn of War, you'll appreciate this Aramis he painted. But he's not Aramis, he's also Alpha Legion. It just goes to show it's always who you suspect the most. But when it comes to suspecting Xerxes would convert a mini, we'd normally be correct. So the most surprising thing about the Demon Prince to me was there was very little conversion. And upon closer inspection,
Just
It looks kitbashed.
the entire body is assembled straight out of the box. The only thing that truly makes this mini unique is the part that draws the eye the most. The head.
It's just a head swap.
It's just a head swap?
Yeah, it is. So,
How fitting it should be the head of a Hydra.
so this head is by Titanforge, and you have to be part of their patron for 3 months to get this head.
But I've got one better for you. Titanforge sculpted me the Just Move Berserker Dave mini, and it was even Romic's idea that he should be modeled on top of a pile of skulls. Yeah, Xerxes infiltrated that too. Not only did he do push-ups with me as I was giving him a tour of the bunker, he picked up his own Just Move Berserker Dave, applied the Omegon's Wrath effect to it, then proceeded to show it off to my dad and my sister.
Did you paint this while you were here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Just today he did that?
Just, yeah, yesterday.
The last 2 days, but I really would like to add some fluorescent colors onto the X.
Yours is the first one I've seen like this where it's like half is different from the other half. Like,
Yeah.
That's the fact that I paint on the whole army.
Dreadnought. That's the first
Nice.
one that I saw.
That is very, very cool. I like the orange here so much, like the
Yeah.
effect.
And this is the problem. He's starting to make me feel warm fuzzies.
There you go. Just move.
Just move.
And just like how Romic got me to promote a Chaos Lord he designed for Adepticon, Xerxes is getting me to talk about his model conversions. And if I'm gonna talk about some of his minis, then it's paramount that I reveal the best one in his collection. But first, some honorable mentions. Primarchs. He's converted a couple of them, like his Gilliman, that looks like he's stepping right foot first through a portal. Or his Lionel Johnson, that he proxied as Alfarius in our banter bat rep, but Alfarius wasn't a playable character in Warhammer 40k 7th edition. So he was actually proxying him as Abaddon the Despoiler. He proxied a proxy. Now that one I enjoyed, I gotta admit. He even proxied this Kratos heavy assault tank as a Land Raider. Which brings us to my top pick from his collection, which is none other than this kitbashed, possessed aggressor. There's something so beautiful about the directness of this visual. It is an obvious depiction of a being in mid-transition. It's almost like we're seeing him in the act of infiltration. And it's the mini that makes me think of Xerxes the most. Even more than his Hellbrute Dreadnought. Xerxes, aka Mark, has been part of the MiniWarGaming community for years. He's watched countless videos and is a massive supporter of our efforts.
And it's always nice to watch a MiniWarGaming video just while I paint.
Did he infiltrate our studio and slither his way into our minds, influencing our decisions? Absolutely he did. But that's because I invited him to. He was just doing what he was always meant to be doing.
You can't help it. You can't help it. I can tell.
No, I can't. Oh. Hi there.
How's it going?
Mark.
You're Mark?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm Matthew.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not
I wanted to meet you. I asked Dave if we could meet you too.
Sure, of course.
It is said, as wargamers, we gravitate to the armies that best fit our personalities. I'm a Berserker. Mark is an infiltrator. He observes, collects information. He just moves, ravages galaxies, inspires us to have fun and be the best version of ourselves.
Literally watched all your battle reports on War Machine back then.
Oh, awesome.
So in the end, I only have one final question. How could he infiltrate us if he was always here to begin with? I'm MiniWarGamer Dave, and this is Omegon's Wrath.